This video covers the IGCSE Biology Objective 9.1.2 on the 2025 CAIE syllabus to describe the single circulation of a fish. So in this little animation we can see the system of single circulation. Single circulation is where the blood is going to travel through the heart once as it makes a complete circuit of the body. So we can see in a fish that the blood is going to flow through the capillaries in the gills, gaining oxygen, is going to then flow to the body capillaries where the oxygen will be given to the body tissue and carbon dioxide will enter the blood, and then that blood will flow into the heart where it will be pumped into the gills. And we can see here this is a two-chambered heart. As I mentioned in the previous video, different types of animals will have different numbers of the chamber of the heart. So let's talk about this system in the fish. So in this little diagram, we see what would happen if blood and water were both flowing past the gills in the same direction. Okay, so the blood and the water are moving in the same direction past the gills. So what's going to happen here is as oxygen is diffusing from the water into the blood, both of those fluids are moving in the same direction. And so eventually the oxygen in the water outside the fish and the blood inside the fish is going to be the same concentration. And so therefore that system will have reached equilibrium and there's no longer a concentration gradient and the diffusion of oxygen will stop. This is extremely inefficient for the fish. So what happens is we have this system called counter current flow, in which the flow of the water through the gills and the flow of blood through the capillaries are going to be in opposite directions. So the flow is going to be counter against each other. So that's where the term counter current flow comes from. So they're flowing in opposite directions to each other. That is the water through the gills and then the blood in those gill capillaries. So what's going to happen is that the oxygen in the water, because of this countercurrent flow, the oxygen will always be higher in the water itself outside the gills, and equilibrium will never be reached. So therefore diffusion of oxygen will be continuous. And so therefore the heart can just be pumping blood through the gills and into the body without really having to worry about the levels of oxygen reaching the body tissue, because diffusion of oxygen is going to continuously be happening. The gills will never reach, the blood in the gills will never reach equilibrium. This is an extremely efficient method for the diffusion of oxygen in an organism that has this single circulation. So this countercurrent flow is going to allow the fish to efficiently diffuse the oxygen from the water by having this system where the water is flowing past the gills in one direction and the blood is being pumped through the gills in the opposite direction.